Katisha should have known what she was getting herself into. She went from the entire group questioning her relationship with Javan to having her own doubts settling in the relationship because of what happened with Demola, to now finding out that this guy is a no good. What a shift of events with Katisha and Javan.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is Kay Unscripted. I am your girl Kay, and today we're going to be recapping Love is Blind UK Season 2, Episode 8. Now when I tell you the episodes got messier and messier, this one was definitely one for the books. Before we get into all of the details of this episode, if you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to have you. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's talk about it. So we start the episode off with Billy and Ashley. Billy is visiting the airport that she works at, and it was really nice seeing her narrating what she usually does, and Billy was on the other end giving the demonstration of what she usually says anytime she's about to take off on a flight. So we're now at Katisha and Javan's. So it's supposed to be the day that he's visiting her family. He's yawning because he obviously partied too much the night before. So Katisha asked him how was the night out, and she's also asking him who was there. So he said pretty much everyone who was at the mixer was there, but the only couple that was there was Kieran and Megan. Now that's important to note because that's going to come up a little bit later in this episode. So she tells him, well, didn't you see that I was upset? You still went out anyway. He said he didn't know that she was upset and he wished that she had brought it up then. So he tells her this is the issue that he's having when it comes to their relationship because their communication styles are different. So she then goes to say that she was upset because he went out. And he was a little bit confused as to why she was upset and about him going out. And she says, well, because I didn't want you to be having a hangover today, which is the next day, when you have to go see my family. And he somehow was offended by her saying that to him. And he's like, but so you really think that I would have a hangover when I'm going to meet your family? So he keeps telling her, do you not trust me to not be hangover to go see your family? Because I'm hoping you think that I wouldn't do something so stupid like that. And so she's like, well, I don't know what was happening. So I've never seen you having a hangover. So I'm not sure how you are when that happens. But that was just a concern of mine. Now, at that point, I feel like Katisha was starting to see all of the signs that she had experienced in her previous relationships. Because she did say in her confessional that Javan is not her past. And she does need to give him the benefit of the doubt. So she knew at that point there was definitely something happening. Her guts, maybe her spleen too, was telling her to look into this because something is going on. Now we're at Kieran and Megan's home. Kieran brings up the fact that he was surprised that Javan came out alone, leaving Katisha home. Megan now says to Kieran that she didn't appreciate the way Javan was behaving and how cozy he was with some of the single girls. She specifically talks about Sophie and Anu, saying that Anu definitely said that Javan was giving her the eyes all night. And Megan also said that Javan was extremely flirty with the girls. Now, it's not far-fetched that Javan would have done something like that, because we did see him being extremely flirty with Sophie at the mixer that his fiancé was also present. Now, in Megan's confessional, she gives a little bit more details on what went down. She does say again that Javan was extremely flirty with some of the pod girls. And then she said he went into a photo booth with one of the girls. So as they're still discussing, Megan says that if it was the other way around and Katisha was out and had seen Kieran behaving inappropriately, she would want to know. So she feels like at this point, she does need to let Katisha know what went down. Now, Kieran has some reservations because he's obviously gotten close to Javan, but he said if she wouldn't be a good friend if she hadn't told Katisha what went down. He doesn't want the mess, obviously, and he doesn't want Javen to be in a position where it ruins his relationship. But that's on Javen. He shouldn't have put himself in that position to begin with. We're at Saruva and Carl's, and they're getting ready, or she's prepping him to meet her family. So I'm happy that Saruva's family did come around. Carl is saying that for him, he's having difficulty understanding why her family isn't as excited as his family will to see Saruva. She tells him, well, this is all new to my family, and for them, they didn't really sign up for any of this, so it's taking them a little bit more time to come around, which is understandable. I do like how Carl and Saruva keep having these conversations about their family, because sometimes that could be very difficult to talk about or to even experience drama from your family. Now, Ashley and Billy are going over to meet Billy's mother and sister. Now, I love how Billy's mom said she brought all the sweets and treats for Ashley and she brought some fruits for Billy. That was really funny. So Billy's mom asks Ashley how the experience has been for them thus far. Ashley says that it's been amazing. She has found herself falling deeper in love with Billy every day. She talks about her job a little bit, and she talked about how Billy came over to see her job and he was doing the demonstrations. So Billy goes with his sister to make some tea. Ashley stays with his mom, and his mom tells Ashley that she is exactly what Billy needs. She's very confident and strong, and she's also seen that Billy has opened up quite a bit. So now he's talking to his sister, and his sister's like, I really like Ashley. Billy then opens up to his sister and tells her that he's really scared because of Ashley's job and how much time she will be away from him. He said that he doesn't want a marriage where they're going to be living separate lives, and that has been weighing on his mind heavy. This is definitely a conversation that they need to have now. I'm a little bit confused because from dating in the pods, Billy knew this is what he was getting into. They've had several conversations, and now you're getting to a point where you're second guessing everything, and that makes me really confused because you got engaged knowing this is what you were going to have to deal with as far as your future with Ashley. Up next, Katisha and Javen are heading over to a place to meet Katisha's family. Once they head in, she introduces Javen to her family. They're excited to see her because they clearly haven't seen her in a little bit. And she tells her family she's engaged and she's about to be married in a couple of weeks. And they're literally shocked. So all of the children go away to play, and Katisha is with her mom and Javen. And her mom is asking Javen how long has he been looking for someone. He said about 2 to 3 years. Her mom also says that she doesn't usually get involved in Katisha's relationship, but this is her first time being engaged, so she definitely has to ask all of the questions. She also said that her husband treats her like a queen, and this is what Katisha looks up to. And so Javen should definitely treat Katisha like a queen. Not going to happen, mom. Her mom then says she only wants her daughter to be happy, so if Katisha is happy, welcome to the family. Maybe they may have had more conversations and we didn't get to see it, but it was nice to see that her mom supports the relationship. Up next, Carl is finally meeting Saruva's family. So he's going to meet her mother and her sister. Now, let me tell you, this was the most awkward and uncomfortable conversation that I've ever seen. And it's probably because a lot of the conversation was edited a lot. And so things did not make sense because the way Carl was responding to a lot of these questions were really strange to me. So the first thing her mom asked is what made Carl choose Saruva. And his response was just really strange. He said she was something new, something new that he had never experienced. He talked about them also being into fitness. I don't know if Carl was just extremely nervous or if that was just highly edited. Now back on the meetup with Katisha and her family, she's sitting with her mom. Javen is playing with the children. Her mom asked her how she's actually feeling. She said she's good, but she also let her mom know that communication hasn't been good between she and Javen. She then brings up the fact that she hasn't had the best relationships and how even in her relationships, she's not always forthcoming on how she's feeling about a situation. Katisha also says that she's struggling to communicate with Javen because she feels like he's holding back a lot. I love what her mom told her. Her mom said to her, I wanted you to go into this experiment with your eyes open, but never be afraid to let them know about the prize that they won. Now, I don't think that's going to happen with Javen because he clearly doesn't respect Katisha. He doesn't hold her in that high regard because if that was the case, he wouldn't have been behaving the way that he has been. Now, back on the meetup with Saruva's mom and sister, Saruva is telling her mom, look, I don't like the way you've been dealing with this situation. In the past, I have always lived up to what yours expectations are of me, but this time I'm living for me. I am putting my relationship with Carl first. Now, I do feel like Carl kind of redeemed himself in the end because the conversation in the beginning was very awkward, but he pretty much assured Saruva's mom that he's in it, he has good intentions, he's here to take care of her, to treat her right, and to do all of the things that is expected of him as a husband. I also feel like the more Carl talked and assured her mom that everything is going to be okay, she started to warm up to Carl. In the end, she did give her support, and her sister also gave her support to their relationship. And I loved that they ended on good terms. Up next, Bada goes to visit Jed's home. These two are just the cutest. I definitely feel like these two will make it down the aisle. Bada definitely loved his house. It was actually really nice. But like she said, it definitely needs the touch of a woman. She is also meeting Jed's family. I love how welcoming they were when they saw Bada, and they talk about how similar their cultures are. The food and everything is very similar. So Jed's mom asked Bada what made her say yes to Jed, what made him stand out from the other guys that she was dating. Bada says that things have been so natural between them, and she really loved the fact that Jed was very confident in himself. His mom said that she's concerned because they've been living in a bit of a bubble and everything has been smooth sailing thus far. And his dad came in and said, oh, I'm not thinking about the negative stuff. As long as y'all are happy, then that's all that matters. I think his mom's concerns are very valid because she's saying they've never had any argument. And she says that sometimes a relationship can start off being very rosy, as she said, and later down the line, when it doesn't work out, people get bitter and things change. You see a different side to the person. So I feel like what she was asking was really valid, but I love how they both just kind of said, we're in it for the right reasons. I don't take this thing lightly. My parents have been married for a long time, which is what Bada said. So she doesn't take going into a marriage that lightly. She takes it very serious. His mom also said something that is very important, and I think people forget that sometimes the wedding is just the ceremony, it's not the marriage, and the wedding is just the beginning, but the marriage itself takes hard work. It takes putting in time, energy, and effort every single day. So the highlight of this episode was the conversation between Katisha and Megan. Katisha goes over to visit Megan, and Megan says that she is a bit apprehensive in telling Katisha what really went down. So she does go straight ahead and say Kieran and I were the only couple who were out with the rest of the crew from the pods, and I just really didn't appreciate Javen's behavior. Megan says that she thought Javen would have been hanging out with them more because they're, engaged as well. He did hang out with the guys, but when he came in, he immediately went to Sophie and he spent a lot of time with Sophie. She proceeds to tell Katisha that they did go into a photo booth, and Katisha's like, well, did they take a photo of something? Megan said she didn't see any photo, but whether he went in to take a photo or not, why are you taking a photo in a photo? Like, what is the reason for doing that? Megan also said that she confronted Javan, and he just kept on laughing and said, it's nothing, and then proceeds to go talk to Yolanda and Anu and how he was being very flirtatious with them as well. Katisha is saying that she feels like a fool because Javan reassured her that he would never do this, he would never do that, but he's actually doing the exact thing that her ex did to her in the past. Katisha says that Javan had her feeling like she's the bad guy because of everything that went down between she and Demela. And the whole time he was doing sneaky stuff, right? I like how Megan just came in and reassured her and said, girl, I know you've been through some things. I just had to let you know what was going down. But just so you know, you're amazing. You do not deserve this. You deserve so much better. Now, baby, she walked back over to her apartment and homegirl went to the room and she started packing her stuff. Now, I thought Javan wasn't at home at first, but he comes in and he's like, what's going on? What are you doing? He then asks her if she's okay. She's like, no, I am going home. Why didn't you tell me that you were with Sophie and Yolanda the whole night? He's like, no, that's not true. So she's like, why were you in the photo booth with Sophie? And he's like, photo booth. It was off. Javan, really? Even if it was off, why were you in the photo booth with Sophie? He said they were arguing in the photo booth. Arguing about what? Why did y'all have to go in the photo booth and argue? That doesn't make sense. So Katisha basically tells him everything that Megan said. He denies it. He said Megan is lying, but I don't see any reason for Megan to lie about that situation. Then he's looking flabbergasted once she said she doesn't know what to believe because Sophie has no reason to lie. Up next, Carl and Sarova go out to dinner and he's saying how grateful he is that her mom did come around and he appreciates how Sarova had his back. Carl also tells Sarova that for him, he thought he would have been uncomfortable living with her, but that has been the easiest part about the entire experience with her. She's so happy that he said that because maybe if he had said it earlier, she would have given him space, and she's glad that he's telling her that now, and she's really grateful that he does feel comfortable living with her. She then tells him that being with him has caused her to speak up for what she has to speak against, and it's only because she's in a relationship with him now, it's kind of pushed her to stand up for herself a bit more. I am truly happy for Carl and Sarova. I know people have their reservations about them, but I feel like these two will definitely get married and I look forward to seeing more of their story. Up next, we're back at Katisha and Javan's. We see Katisha, she's writing Javan a note. She has decided to walk out of the relationship and move on past Javan. She is not putting up with his BS and she feels like she has to follow her gut, and her intuition is telling her that Javan did exactly what Megan said that he did. I am happy for Katisha that she finally stood up for herself and she saw the relationship for what it really was. Like she said, she spared herself so much more tears and heartache instead of maybe waiting at the altar to be embarrassed by Javan. Javan now comes home and sees the letter from Katisha, and honestly, his body language gave it is what it is. He tore the paper up in pieces. You could tell he really didn't care too much. So it's the next day and Javan is on his phone with Mr. Splin and he's telling Mr. Splin what went down. This doesn't feel authentic to me. I don't believe a thing that Patrick has to say. It just seems too good to be true. It kind of seemed like they coordinated this and it was planned out. It was a scheme that Todd set up. Okay, so that's definitely what it was giving. I don't believe Patrick. Now we're on a date with Ashley and Billy, and she's checking in with him because the wedding is under 2 weeks and she wants to know how he's feeling. He does open up to her and tells her that he is torn about the job. Yes, he was okay with it, but now that the time is getting closer and seeing what the reality is going to be, he feels really torn about it. Ashley looks taken aback. She's completely shocked. She did not see that coming. She didn't know that he was having all of these doubts. Ashley said she definitely sees this working out with she and him. She's telling him, I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to do all of those things. I'm going to try my best to get as many weekends off as I can. Yes, the first 6 months is going to be very difficult, but we can make it through. We definitely did cement that when we were talking in the pods, and he's like, we didn't cement it. We definitely talked about it working out, but it wasn't cemented. She still feels some type of way that he could possibly say no. I do feel like this is something they can also compromise on. Let's try the 6 months and see how it's going to be. I did feel like at some point, or I feel like at some point, Ashley did say if it takes her having to change her career, she is also willing to do that. So I definitely feel like this is something that can be worked on. It has happened before, and this is another thing that they would need to compromise on in their relationship. So to end this episode off, there's the sit down between Javan, Kieran, and Megan. He tells them, obviously, because of what you, Megan, have told Katisha, she's no longer here, and he wants to get into what she said to Katisha. He's saying that he was with some of the guys, and she's like, I didn't see that. I definitely saw you with the girls for the majority of the night. He's trying to gaslight this lady because he's telling her, oh, you're insinuating. She's like, I am not insinuating anything. All I did was tell her the facts. I told her what I saw. Now, I didn't like the way Javan was going in on Megan and Kieran sitting down there quietly. But Kieran does come and say, actually, I did see you also going into the photo booth with Sophie, and it was closed. It definitely did not look like there was any argument happening. Kieran tells him everything Megan said were facts. I saw it also. Now he's going in on both of them. And at this point, Megan was tired and frustrated of Javan lying. And she's like, actually, you did say that Sophie is somebody you would want to screw and drop. So how about that? Javan is saying, oh, he's told Katisha everything. And so Megan is like, so what's the problem? Why are you mad? Why are you bringing us here to confront us if you've already told Katisha all of that? Megan gets frustrated. She walks out. She's crying. I feel like Kieran took a little bit too much time to go and check on her. But he does comfort her, and he does validate everything that Megan was saying. Now, this is where the episode ends, and we get a glimpse of the wedding days that are coming up. It's going to be interesting to see who says I do and who says no. But please tell me all of your thoughts on this episode. Go ahead and like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.